Cool, cool, cool. Hey, Beans. Okay, let's remember how to do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Benjamin Krudwig, and this is the Benjamin Krudwig Textile Arts, Fiber Arts, Fashion Design, whatever you want to call it channel. Um, Today, I'm bringing back an old staple, design time. Are you ready for this, Beans? You ready? Did you want your time in the sun? Yes, today is episode question mark of Design Time. I haven't done one of these podcasts in years. Um, it's been 3 years since I really did anything on this channel, like really solidly on this channel regarding fiber arts. Um, I started doing it again this year. So, where have I been? What have I been doing? Well, some of you might know that I moved to Los Angeles in 2020, in about February 2020, February 18th to be exact. I know this date for many reasons. One of the reasons is the fact that I moved out here just after Valentine's Day. My ex and I drove out to California to get me set up here in Los Angeles. And a month later, the pandemic hit. So I remember pretty clearly that time of my transition out here. Um, so before then, I was still working at Shack Spindle Company. I felt like I needed a change. My life was changing drastically at that time. A relationship was ending, and my fashion career, I really wanted to get that up and running. So I had been invited to Vancouver Fashion Week, and I figured that Los Angeles was as good a place as any to prepare for Vancouver Fashion Week. It's close to a fashion district. I have friends out here who are wonderful and supportive. So I figured Los Angeles is the place to be. So I moved out here. When I moved, I got rid of a lot of my fiber arts stuff. I got rid of equipment. I got rid of yarn. I sold a few of my spinning wheels. I donated a couple of my looms to some other friends of mine. My drum carder I gave to another friend who didn't have one, and I felt like she could use it. So, yeah, I moved out here and started focusing primarily on fashion, on fabrics and textiles and stuff like that. So, um, I had my entire fashion show ready. And due to the pandemic, that fashion show was canceled, or I guess I should say postponed, because technically I still have a spot. I paid for everything, I had booked everything out, but um, when Canada closes its borders, and it was just not safe for people to gather, things got to get canceled. So um, at that point, uh, I basically just like dawdled around at home trying to make the best of that situation, working odd jobs, doing a lot of contract work for like social media and marketing. And I didn't pick up any sort of fiber or textile arts except for sewing for the last couple of years. Then, I think it was last year or it was late 2021, I decided that now was as good a time as any. I was missing the textile arts, I was missing the fiber arts, and it was a big part of my personality, just like a big part of who I am. Fiber arts is in my blood and in my bones and in my soul, and I just felt the need to get back to it. So I had some old knitted projects that were just things I didn't wear or didn't like. So I unraveled them and reclaimed the yarn, warped up my loom, my floor loom, and the second I sat back down at that loom, I just felt like I was home. I came back home to myself, to my soul, and that has kind of, I guess, reignited the spark and the fire in my soul for the textile arts and the fiber arts. It's not like they ever went away fully, um, but it was something that wasn't necessarily well supported before. And I think I had a lot of shame surrounding it. I'm not going to get into that right now in this design time podcast. Um, but yeah, I put it away for a long time, and when I sat back down at that loom, it felt like coming home. It felt like unlocking something that I had put away for a few years. So 2022 went on, and I did a few projects. I did some of my favorite weaving that I've done, which is the rainbow scarves, the kind of houndstooth scarves, and the rainbow gradient scarf. I love those. I think there are still a couple left on my website. So if you want to check those out, check them out at benjamincollin.com. Um, so now, where am I? 2023, I've made it a focus of mine to really get back into textile arts, slow fashion, um, knitting, weaving. I haven't gotten back to spinning yet. I have a project on my wheel right now, but spinning is not what I'm into at the moment, which is totally fine. Um, what I'm very much into right now is weaving. And that is where I feel like my soul resides, is in weaving. So, also over the last couple of years, my focus in my fashion career has shifted from what I thought I originally wanted, which was couture mass market stuff, into sustainable, upcycled, handmade. And while that is, I think, an honorable course, it's not necessarily a very profitable course of action, nor is it. It takes a lot of time. I guess is the way I should put it. It takes a lot of time. So, um, I recently have just said, screw it. That's what I'm going to focus on. I don't care if it takes forever. I don't care if each handmade piece takes me a few weeks to a few months to a couple of years. It's worth it to me to make works of art that people can wear and feel good wearing and feel like themselves and authentic in their style and their clothing. So I'm going to close the window because someone's doing the artwork. Be right back. So, what I wanted to do is kind of give you a design time now of projects that I have going, projects that I've finished, and projects that are in the infancy in my mind. So, um, I'm going to move some of this stuff. So, at the beginning of the year, I did start weaving again. I started planning projects. I started ordering some yarn with some Christmas money that I got. Um, and I also restarted my YouTube channel, what you're watching right now. I've put up a few videos every month. I at first was going to try to do one video a week, but that's just not sustainable with my job, with my life, and with how long these projects take to do the video, to do the work that it actually takes to make these objects. It takes hours and hours and hours of making, filming, editing, so on and so forth. So I might not be a very prolific uploader. However, what I can say is that um, what I'm going to put up is going to be indicative of what I want to put up. So I'm not going to put up a half-baked video just to get a video out. So, what have I been working on? What have I finished recently? So, first and foremost, you might have seen my interest, my rediscovery of hyperbolic crochet. So, I did a few videos on hyperbolic crochet, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's really fascinating to me to see these forms grow. And they're just like weird. They're weird. They look like coral. They're funky shapes. So I made just kind of a regular in the round hyperbolic crochet form. And then I also did an experiment or a study on different starting shapes, basically like different seeds, if you will. And that was really fascinating. I have the two videos that you can check out on my channel um, of the recent exploration into this, but very, very fascinating. This is Blue Sky Alpacas. Where did I put? Ooh, is it up here? Yes. Blue Sky Alpacas baby alpaca yarn um, in cornflower and brown. I don't remember what the brown is called, but this is one of my favorite yarns to work with. It's extremely soft. I wouldn't normally use it for something like this, but I literally have very little yarn in this apartment. Like what I'm about to show you is basically all of the yarn that I have in this place. I got rid of so much yarn when I moved because I thought I was done with that part of my life. And I wasn't. I was just putting it away because of feelings. So, anyways, yes, I really like these forms. I do want to do a project with hyperbolic crochet. Like, I kind of want to make a sweater or a jacket that is basically a living coral. But I still need to think about how I want to do it without it looking lumpy, frumpy, gauche. Like, I want it to look couture. I want it to look couture. So that's still in my mind. That's an upcoming thought that I'll need to sketch out and figure out. So that's one thing that I've been working on. The other thing that I finished and I love, I love it so much. I finished the Moonweaver scarf a while ago, like a good couple of months ago. I finished the Moonweaver scarf. This was a sample, just to make sure that proof of concept was right. So this is the scarf, or at least half of it. It's folded right now. It has braided fringe, but it's black cotton, unmercerized, with a gold tencel for the borders. And the tencel just shines. It has a lovely sheen. I don't think it'll really catch on camera, but against that matte black, it's just to die for. So the sample worked, the proof of concept worked. I loved it. So what I ended up doing was warp up my loom for, gosh, I don't remember how many yards, but probably six yards, I'm assuming. I'm using my Shacked Baby Wolf. It's an 8 harness. I used all 8 harnesses for this. And it's essentially a point twill, but it's, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like an undulating twill and a point twill combined. If you don't know what those terms mean, that's okay. It doesn't matter. So the wraps are finished. There's 2 of these shawls. You could technically use it as a table runner. These are also available on my website. The fabric and the hand of it, like the drape and the hand, is just so sumptuous. Like part of me is like, should I keep one of these? But honestly, no. I think that whoever needs these are like, they're going to see them and it'll speak to them and it'll be for them. So the borders, those are inspired by the moon phases. So you have the full moon in the center, and then you have the waxing and waning moons on either side of it. And it just really pops. Again, it's that same gold tencel on the black cotton. It's great. These are technically machine washable. However, I would highly suggest A, not washing it as much as you think that you need to, and B, hand washing or putting it in with delicates, just because it is hand woven and you don't want it to pill. Cotton will get softer over time, which is really lovely. Like it ages really well. But you don't need to launder the hand woven as much as you think you do, unless it gets soiled, and then feel free. It's 66 inches by 22 inches. So really, I think a lovely shoulder shawl cover, chunky scarf if you really wanted to make it that way. But I love these. So again, these are available on the website, benjamincollin.com. I love it. I kind of don't want to let them go. Two of them were made. So they are twin, what I like to call sister scarves. And I'll probably never make that exact pattern ever again because I don't like making the same thing. So, what have I been kind of in the middle of? Let's move finished stuff over there. So, oh no, I'll show you the yarn in a little bit. This is kind of we're moving, we're moving into yarn haul. So this is just basically, I'm going to show you my stash as it stands right now. I had a hand spun, hand knitted sweater that I made a couple of years ago. The problem was it didn't fit me super well. The yarns are all various weights because they're hand spun, and some of them are like a kind of rough wool that I'm sensitive to wools, and some of them are really soft wools. So it was like it just was not a sweater that got a lot of wear. So I unraveled it like 2 years ago, thinking I was going to use more of the yarn than I did. And I finally finished unraveling some of it and separating. Like I had held some of these double, so they were kind of entwined after I unraveled them. So I took like a full day to untwine them. So here's 4 of the skeins. One of them is in my project bag, in my work bag, because I've been making zoom loom squares. My pin loom, it's a 4-inch by 4-inch square pin loom from Shack Spindle Company. And I've been making zoom loom squares out of the other half of this skein. This is Caribou, the colorway Caribou. This was from the Spunky Eclectic Fiber of the Month Club that I got many years ago. I gotta say, this yarn holds up. Like, I'm still really proud of this yarn, how I spun it. I spun it during a Spinzilla event, like a good probably 5-6 years ago at this point. I'm really, really proud of how it turned out. So I've been making zoom loom squares. This is from a different, I don't remember which, I think it's this skein. I just had some leftovers. Some of it is moth damaged. I had moths in my old place that have followed me here. I've been slowly eradicating them, but let me tell you, they're a pain in the butt. So yeah, I'm just making 4-inch squares, and I think that's what I'm going to do with most of these. I'll probably make a cool like boho wrap. I won't be wearing it this summer. It's already summer here in Los Angeles. Like it's late spring, early summer here in Los Angeles. It's too warm to be wearing woolens, but if I work on it now, I'll have it for this fall. So yeah, that's what these are destined to become. Probably not all in one. These 3 work together just fine, this by itself, I think, will be good. So that's that. Other yarn that I have. So one of my friends gifted me this yarn. She had it in her stash for a long time and gifted it to me a couple of years ago after I moved here. This is Quillen Fiber Arts. I believe it's a superwash merino. Oh, ooh, there it is. Yeah, Quillen Fiber Arts. I don't know if Quillen Fiber Arts is still around, but this is called Hay Meadow. It's a superwash merino. It's a fingering weight yarn, and each one has about 490 yards. So we're looking at almost 1,000 yards of this. I keep waffling back and forth on what I want to do with this. Part of me wants to knit like a really large lacy shawl, or like an oversized tunic wrap. I don't know. So I need to think about this for a while. I love the colors. Like these are my colors. There's notes of teal and green. This reminds me of a yarn that I actually dyed back when I was still dyeing yarn, like in 2011, 2012, which I've thought about getting back into, but I don't really have the infrastructure here or the initial capital to do that. So, but I do kind of miss dyeing fabric and yarn. So, thoughts. So yeah, I'll be working on this up here for a while. And then I need to decide whether or not I want to write a pattern for it. So that's that. Quillen Fiber Arts, all things fiber. And then I have this in my stash. Hope I didn't knock that on the table. This was part of my exploration in hyperbolic crochet. This is Sincere Sheep. I love this yarn. I keep wanting to make something special out of this yarn, and I've had this in my stash for years. It was one that I wanted to keep because I just love it. So I just don't know what I want to do with it. So it's another fingering weight yarn. I'm half tempted to make this into Zoom Loom squares as well. It's the right weight for it. Or knit it or crochet it into something kind of small. So I don't know. I don't know. I've got to think about it. But again, I love this yarn. It's Sincere Sheep. I'm pretty sure it's Tardy. Maybe not. But I do know it is naturally dyed. All right. So let me get to the yarns that I got this year. I for the woven projects that I've done already, this is the gold tencel and the black. Ooh, see right there. Let's get to the yarn I got this year. This is the gold tencel and the black cotton that I used for the Moonweaver shawls and Moonweaver scarf. Beautiful. These are all of that I'm about to show you came from Webb's Yarn, or yarn.com. I've been using them for my weaving yarn for years. I usually use them or Gist yarn, but to get exactly the colors and the fiber type that I needed, I used Webb's. So I have these two, and then I also got in Tencel this lovely orange. It's like a pumpkin orange. It's called Sienna. It's great. So I worked this up. It's currently on my loom. This is a project in the works. If you want to see it, follow me on Instagram, Benjamin_Krudwig. You'll see I'm weaving this as like a shot silk where you warp up your loom with one color and then you weave alternating picks of one color and another color that are similar in value. So these are somewhat similar in value. This is a little bit lighter than this one, but not enough to make it a difference. If I were to do this, that would be a huge difference. So we're not. But I'm really excited. This is a test for an upcoming project, which I'll show you. I just showed you half the yarn for that. But it's also, I'm going to be doing a cosplay of a character from work, actually. I work at Cantrip Candles, and we have 4 NPC characters or non-playable characters. One of them is named Clover and looks an awful lot like me. May or may not have been modeled after me slightly. I think unconsciously so, or subconsciously so. Um, so I'm weaving a sash for this cosplay. I just got fabric ordered um, thanks to a gift card from Christmas. I I have a bad habit of hoarding gift cards, and then finally I'm like, oh, I should use that. So I got some linen for the pants. I got some cotton muslin for the shirt. So I'm going to be making this entire outfit. It looks really comfy. It's like basically an oversized jacket, patchwork jacket, a nice kind of peasant top, and then some very loose fitting pants. So I'm very, very excited. I have a lot of creative liberty with this outfit. And so I'm making the sash out of shot silk using the gold and the pumpkin orange. It's not an exact color match, but I like it. So I'm just going to go for it. I'm going for it. I have creative liberty. I get to do what I want. So that brings me to this, which is more tencel. It's got that lovely sheen to it in shale and forest park. The shale is again a solid tencel. The forest park is a variegated. It's very similar to this, just warmer. It's got more yellow tones. It's a warmer green. And I'll be doing the same thing. I want to make a shot silk with this as the base and this is the alternating color for a redesign of my Vipers in the Ivy Victorian jacket. So I'm not ready to like divulge a lot of details for this project yet, but I will be doing an entire video series on that project. What I'm going to be doing is weaving all the fabric for it, drafting up the pattern for it, and making this outfit. It's going to be kind of a fantasy interpretation of Victorian fashion, both men's and women's fashion. I think I'm going to try to combine certain silhouettes of both men's and women's Victorian fashion to make it a gender neutralizing outfit. I want it to be a long-ish tailcoat, maybe not tailcoat, but a longish tailored coat, a vest or a waistcoat, as I should say, and pants. I have a ton of white, it's basically white canvas to do the mock-up with. So you know I'm going to be making a white canvas suit that I'll probably just like have fun tie-dyeing or something. I don't know. I'm going to need to do something with it or embroider it. Who knows? So that's what this yarn is for, upcoming project. I have yarn for the waistcoat, the main fabric of the jacket and the pants. It's going to be a wool blend, which I think I'm going to do a shark skin, which means that you alternate colors one thread by one thread in both the warp and the weft, and then weave it in a 2-2 twill. It's a really interesting pattern. It's really interesting. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. It's a lovely mossy green. I think, is it in this drawer? Nope, that's the canvas. Oh my gosh. Is it in this drawer? I don't know which drawer it's in. So, yeah, that's going to be really a fun project. It's going to take probably a good few months. So do not expect that to just pop up immediately, especially because I need to get this cosplay finished by May 14th because I like to wear it to the Renaissance Fair here in Los Angeles. We'll see if I finish it in time. I have all the materials except for the stuff I ordered from Mood. I'll do a haul on that when that comes in. But I don't know. I'm not going to push it, but I'd also really like to finish it. So I might get started with finishing on the sash and then working on the patchwork coat. I have a ton of scrap fabric for this reason. It's all in shades of green. So I'm going to do that. And then once I'm done with that, and then the Pride jacket that I'm working on, then I can think about this. I can think about the Vipers and the Ivy jacket a little bit more. So that does bring me to the Pride jacket. So I know I mentioned this on Instagram a while ago, but I was going to reclaim a suit of mine that's been moth damaged. I wore this at not at my wedding, but at my honeymoon, and I was going to reclaim it. But I think some of the fabric is too far gone, and I'm not going to wear this. I'm just not going to wear this. So I was pinning all these butterflies that I made onto the fabric. I cut out a bulk of these on my Glowforge, and then put some reclaimed silk fabric underneath the black outline to create all these butterflies. And I love these butterflies, and I want them to see the light of day. I want them to be seen. So I need to unpin them from the suit. Oopsies. And what I'm going to do is pin them onto this denim jacket that I have. So I got this at a place called It's a Wrap here in Los Angeles. It is a store that takes garments from the film industry and reclaims them, so they don't go into a landfill or just put in storage forever. I don't know what set this was used on, but I do know whoever they put this on was obviously very tiny. They had pinned the back and the sleeves together using these huge pins, safety pins, and it damaged the fabric. Like, there's holes in the back of this fabric. So I wore this to family photos last summer, and like all of the photos were from the front, so I wasn't worried about the holes that are in the back. They weren't a problem. However, I do want to wear this more often, and I figured, let's make this a pride jacket. Let's fill this up with color, with flowers, with butterflies, with flora, fauna. So I'm basically going to make an embroidered jacket that is reminiscent of scientific illustrations. So I have a book up on my shelf that's Culpepper's Guide to like herbs and flowers. I have a bunch of butterfly books from my science days, and I'm going to create like this beautiful garden scene with embroidery and these appliques that I made. I've already added one patch to this jacket. It's the Roll with Pride patch. I got this at work, and I got this like 2 years ago when I first got the job there, and I finally sewed it on, and I think that really unlocked my feelings about this jacket being a celebration of color, a celebration of joy, a celebration of embroidery technique. I know that seems kind of like silly, but I'm here for it. So I'm probably gonna make some like bumblebees and some dragonflies, maybe some grasshoppers, and then a whole bunch of different plants. I have some ribbon, I have some embroidery floss that I'm just going to make into some flowers and bugs. So that's basically what I'm working on, what I have worked on. I'm going to try to do one of these videos every month. It's just going to be me waffling on, very little editing. Yeah, I'm just going to do what I can do and share updates when I can on this design time. It's not going to be a weekly podcast like it used to be back in the day. It'll probably be a monthly podcast as I'll give you like the rundown of what I've been working on. Any more in-depth videos will be on in the other weeks on either side. And when I have them, it's not going to be an every week thing. But that does bring me to another topic. First, if you've been enjoying this content and enjoying my return to the textile arts and the fiber arts, please give this video a thumbs up, comment on it, uh, subscribe. It really helps the algorithm show that people like this stuff. I would like to make this a better effort, a better like back what I used to do, which was I was making this a living. I'm getting back into some article writing very slowly, pattern writing very slowly. I overdid it. I overdid it many years ago. So now I'm going to be a little bit more selective, a little bit more focused on that. But yeah, if you could hit that subscribe button and share this with friends and stuff, like that would be really, really helpful for sure. Also, let me know what kind of content you want to see here. I am happy to try new techniques, to do more tutorials, whether it's crochet, knitting, embroidery, weaving, sewing. I'm happy to do it all. I'm still a novice in a lot of these subjects, an expert in a few of these subjects, but I believe that there's always something to learn, always something new to learn in every skill and every craft. So please let me know down in the comments below what you'd like to see. And with that, that concludes the April 2023 episode of Design Time. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.